I had 4 concussions that I was hospitalized for. Like, go up in the hospital from concussions.
So is it goalkeeper more susceptible?
I mean, you're literally coming full speed to try to intercept the ball at times while an attacker is coming full speed. And
collisions happen.
Yeah, you try to pull out, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, in
relatable.
15 and that's how I have 3 kids.
Welcome to the Coach 'em Up podcast. I'm Tim Riley. Zach Zillner's not with me today. I do have an update. We were able to get him freed from that Cuban gang. However, he is currently recovering in the ICU. He's been drinking too much Cuban coffee. So his time with the Cuban gang left an impact. We're working on it. He's kind of a mess down there. Fortunately, he is still showing up to work. I don't know if you guys have been seeing his sweet Miami college men's basketball content, but apparently he's doing a good job down there. So we'll let it slide. There are 2 types of people on this planet, on this earth. There are subscribers, and then there's non-subscribers. We all know which side of the fence you should fall on. If you want to do the right thing, go ahead, subscribe, hit the like button, do all the stuff. Leave us a review. And also, if you have a loved one, friend, coworker, boss, and they leave their phone unattended, I'm giving you the license to go ahead, break into their phone and subscribe them, and you can bring them into the light. Now that all that's over with, I'd like to introduce our guest, Adam Klink. Adam.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
How we doing?
You know, right before we started the show, he was like, so do you have like an intro or like a thing that you do? And I was like, I mean, I've got like a little bit, you know.
You basically just tell people to just subscribe.
Yeah.
It didn't sound too beggy, so you didn't.
No.
Not beggy at all.
Yeah. It's like you have to ask, but like you also want to be like, you know, like I don't like need you to do it, but like also please do it.
Yeah, it was a sneaky way of begging.
Yeah. 100%.
Well done.
Some dignity left.
You know what? This has been 2 months in the works.
Yeah.
I think we both canceled on each other once or twice.
Multiple times. But I mean, dude, you know, I get it. You get it.
All good things happen in time.
Indeed.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. Yeah. We were also talking off air. By the way, there's always like this podcast before the podcast kind of thing where it's like, damn, we should have probably been recording that entire time.
We made the comment. We're like, we should probably just flick the mics on because we're starting to get into podcast content.
Dude, I know who you are. I've had the fortune of hanging out with you and working with you now for, what has it been? Probably
months?
Yeah.
3-4 months?
4 months now, I think.
More importantly, we worked out together.
We did. We squatted together.
Yeah. How's your squat coming?
It's improving.
I challenged you to
squat. I did not do the program you sent me though. I took one look at that and I was like, was it the Smolov program?
Yeah, I'm in it right now again. Just
You're doing
it works so well so quickly.
Jesus, the volume. I took one look at that. I was like, I can't commit to that.
People are gonna come at me saying you're not old. Like I'm so old now where I ice. I have these free sleeves and I ice my knees after every one of those squat sessions now. That's where I'm at with it.
I get it. I mean, dude,
it works though.
The amount of volume, it's like, yeah, I get that you're icing it, but also I can see it's like, of course that works.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It's gonna work.
You put the work in like that.
It's basically like squat or die. Adapt or die.
I mean, you have those thoughts in your head. The last like 2 sets, the last like rep or two in those 2 sets.
Can you tell people, since we're going to get into your intro in a second, but since we're on the Smolov thing, let's tell me this squat program.
Yeah, so throughout my years of training, competing, coaching people, the squat program that I feel gives you the most results when everybody's after quick results, but it gets me to where I want to be within a shorter amount of time than a lot of programs. Mm-hmm. It's called Smolov Junior. There's a regular Smolov.
There's a senior?
It's like a 13-week squat 4 times a week.
Oh my fucking
leg
God.
Accessories. I don't mess with that. I like Smolov Junior.
Okay.
Which is, it's intended to be 3 weeks long.
Okay.
You squat 4 times a week, which is excessive. I typically stretch it to 4 weeks and I squat 3 times a week.
Okay.
So I kind of just push a day into the next week and then push the next 2 in the next week. But it's increasing percentages and it's a 6x6, 7x5, 8x4, 10x3. And then you
A little
repeat
cluster
that. You
situation?
repeat that through 3 cycles, adding 10 pounds across the board each cycle.
Fuck. You're a savage.
So I'm in the 3rd cycle of that.
Oh, wow.
I just did my 6x6 yesterday.
Glorious.
I just want to get like respectably up into the upper 400s again.
Yeah.
I'm turning 36 in October, and I'd love to hit 500 pounds again on a back squat plus. The first time I ever hit 500 pounds, I was 26 years old. Mm-hmm. So if I could do that 10 years later,
That's dope.
That's like a good.
No, it is.
That's where my goal's at. Is like if I can now 10 years.
I can
post
100% understand.
Yeah. It's very much an ego thing. I am not competing for a single thing in my life right now, other than ego. So yeah.
Also, if you're watching this, you'll notice that we're both wearing rad shirts. This was not planned. We want to get that out there, by the way.
It wasn't. I know. And they're way too similar of shirts too. Before the podcast, I said, "Are we both gay for wearing rad shirts on this podcast?" He said yes, but it's okay.
Yes, it's okay. All right, dude. I know who you are. Definitely some of our listeners know who you are, but for the people who do not know who Adam Klink is, who is Adam Klink? A little bit about your background and what you're doing now.
I thought you were going to tell everybody who I was.
No, I don't do that.
I have to tell people who I am?
Yeah, it's your job. I don't want to work.
My name is Adam Klink. No. No, my name is Adam. A little bit about my background. I've been in the fitness space industry for a long time. I mean, my passion has been fitness since I can remember. I remember skipping more classes in college than actually attending, and I would skip them to go work out.
Very relatable.
But my number one goal, literally in the early part of my life, was playing college sports.
Yeah.
I played a couple sports in high school. I excelled at soccer. And I think naturally you make a decision early on that like, okay, I got to stick with this one thing if I want to make it to the college level. So
Yep.
as a goalkeeper, I went to Rutgers, played soccer there, and I was not the most talented. Build wise, I wasn't built like a goalkeeper. I was actually the 2nd shortest goalkeeper in the Big East. So I had like work to do.
Yep.
And throughout that time, I prided myself on being the most fit athlete on the team. I told myself if I wasn't going to see the playing field my freshman year, I was going to be the fittest person. I was going to win at something.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So in college, I was like, oh, I know what the fitness test is. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
So I trained, and I was actually in 30 years, I was the first goalkeeper to win the running fitness test. It was a 3-mile test.
That's dope.
So I just had to show people up in some capacity.
Yeah.
So the hard work, I eventually found myself onto the field. I was a super senior because I redshirted a year, but I got too many concussions. So my soccer vision on playing in the MLS came to a halt. That's how I found CrossFit.
By the way, people listening to this podcast may be more privy to this. Concussions in soccer.
Yeah, yes.
I feel like it doesn't get as much attention as football.
It doesn't.
But it is
But the
very
thing
prevalent.
is, when there is a head-on-head collision or a foot-to-head or whatever, there's no protection.
Right.
So I would say that like arguably they're more severe than like some of the concussions you see in football.
Yeah.
I had 4 concussions that I was hospitalized for. Like woke up in the hospital from concussions.
And also, is it goalkeeper more susceptible?
Yeah, right. You're literally coming full speed to try to intercept the ball at times while an attacker is coming full speed. And
Collisions happen.
yeah, you try to pull out, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, in
relatable.
15 years. And that's how I have 3 kids.
All happy accident.
Yeah, I mean,
minus the concussions,
happens, right?
Yeah.
And in 15 years of playing, like it's gonna happen.
Yep.
I started off my sophomore year in high school. I got a concussion and I lost my short-term memory for 3 months. I dropped out of school.
What,
I basically,
dude?
yeah. So I technically didn't graduate sophomore year, but they like let me slide.
They were like,
I like took online classes at my own pace and they just gave me a grade.
okay.
But yeah, like I didn't remember
scary,
stuff in the morning later that afternoon. That was a really weird time in my life. I actually don't have a lot of memory of that time. But yeah, so like everyone that I ended up in the hospital, doctors were like,
Yeah.
And then I was a starter. I got one in a game. And then they rushed me back to play because I was a starting goalkeeper.
I see. Yeah.
I got really good at the concussion tests.
Oh,
I could pass
finesse
them.
it a little bit.
I could, yeah.
And was there a little bit
What-
where it's like they want you to pass?
Yeah, right. Like, scores.
They
good
don't
enough.
want you to
You're-
fail.
You're good.
Yeah.
And so I got another one like
Damn
within
it.
3 weeks. Kid broke his foot on my head.
No way.
That was the last one I got. And then the doctors were like, look, if you want to guarantee any bit of quality of life,
Yeah, you got to stop.
you got to shut it down. So that's what led me. That was like a really dark time in my life.
Well,
Because I was like, I worked my whole life for this.
Yeah.
Done. So I remember being like laid
And
up.
the goal was pro at this point, right?
However naive that was, I was like, oh, I'm going to the MLS Combine.
Got it.
I mean, you play for a big D1 school.
Yeah.
You have a decent season, especially towards the end of your career. Like you get a shot at the combine and who knows what could happen. And even if it wasn't MLS, there's so many leagues around the world.
Sure.
Like
You get a chance to play.
picked up somewhere. So that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Depressed, laid up on my couch for a couple months. I mean, it's, concussions, like, if I was in bright lights for too long, like I'd get headaches. It was,
dude,
it was a miserable time in my life.
Not only is your career over, but you're literally fighting for your life. Like you can't even look into bright lights.
And I like trickled out my classes to stay the 5th year without going and taking my master's. So I was hung up in New Jersey taking like 2 classes to finish out because I was planning on just being there to play. And so I was like, what am I doing here?
Brutal.
So when I got healthy enough to play, I'm giving way too much background. We're just like
No.
diving
This
into
is
a full on.
This is where the good stuff
Yeah.
is, actually. Yeah.
So as I got healthy and before I like found CrossFit, which is where I'm headed with this. But again, I was the kid who lived in the weight room. And so the Rutgers football coaches, the strength coaches, like took me in.
Nice.
And when I got healthy, every day I was lifting with the Rutgers football team.
Fuck yeah.
And so much so where they wanted me to come back for another year and play fullback. And I was like, guys, I don't play football. Because at that time I was getting super strong. I was gaining weight. I was like 235 and I was fit.
Yeah.
They're like, fullback? And they're like, okay, you can't because concussion's kicker. And I was like, guys, I ain't hanging around. Like I'm not hanging around just to kick.
Dude, could you imagine just you 235 just hitting absolute nukes?
It would be cool. But at that time I was like I was so ready to be out. So didn't really know what I wanted to do past then. But I had a buddy from high school, and this audience may not know who he is in the CrossFit space. Everybody knows who he is. He's a legend. But I went to high school with Ben Smith. And Ben Smith won the CrossFit Games in 2015. That's later down the road. But anyways, he was opening up a new gym in my hometown. We went to the same high school. And he hit me up as I started to get into CrossFit. And he said, hey, like, what are you doing after college? And I was like, coaching soccer. I was going to be the goalkeeper coach at Rutgers.
That's
and
sweet.
I was like, probably stick around there. Not that you're making much money. So he said, hey, I'm opening this gym. I need somebody to help me coach. And I was like, done. So this was when CrossFit was really young. You could be pretty athletic and learn the movements and like do pretty well. And they took more people to regionals. If you don't know CrossFit, the season has the open, regionals, and the games.
Okay.
It's a qualification process. The CrossFit Games is the top 40 fittest men and women. And I made regionals after like a couple of months of CrossFit, which was pretty solid. So
Hell yeah.
I was like quickly making a name for myself in the CrossFit space. So he was like, come coach with me. So I skipped my graduation at Rutgers. I competed at the Northeast Regionals. And then the next day drove home to Chesapeake, Virginia, right by Virginia Beach. And I coached there for the next 8 years.
Wow.
And that's where my coaching journey began. And selfishly, I went because I wanted to be an athlete still and compete. But through that time, I developed this like really deep passion for people and coaching and helping people. And then I think that's how I am where I am now. I don't coach anymore, or very rarely. I have a cool job now where I get to blend marketing, shoes, which I'm a bit of a sneakerhead, and fitness. So it's a really, really cool spot where I am now. But I think like coaching is what set me up for where I am now. And the fact that I deal with people on a regular basis, it gave me those intangibles. And we can probably talk about that later. Like if people are wondering how I got from being a coach to having like a 9-to-5 career. And I'll preface that like what you do. I think if I wasn't doing what I am now, you have my dream job. I think for any coach if you can make a career out of coaching in that capacity.
Yes.
And what you do and the way you do it and the people that you get to coach, like there's a deep admiration there. And
Thank you.
I would probably trade that in a second, but absolutely love where I am now.
Yeah.
And
you've got a rad
job.
Yeah.
Really cool job. So anyways, I now no longer coach, and I work for a company called Rad, and we're a performance footwear company, which is how we kind of connected.
So if you were at the conference, which if you didn't and you feel FOMO, good. You know,
you guys missed out.
You did miss out. I'm not going to lie. You did miss out. It was one of, and I'm not saying this because it was our conference. It was the best conference experience I've ever been a part of. It large in part due to, everybody got a pair of shoes, dude.
We had nothing to do with the success of that. We just wanted to take care of people.
That added to the experience.
Success was all you, but we were happy to be a small part of it.
It was very cool, man. The Coach 'em Up podcast is now powered by Vald, the global leader in human measurement technologies. Whether you're working with elite athletes, gen pop, or return to play populations, Vald's tools are designed to give you objective, actionable data to help drive your decision making. From Nord boards, force decks, and smart speed timing gates, all which I use, Vald helps you measure what actually matters. Their technology is used and trusted by the NBA, NFL, EPL, and NCAA, as well as thousands of high-performance clinics and facilities around the world. If you're serious about performance, recovery, or precision coaching, Vald gives you the best tools to test, assess, and improve. Because remember, if you're not testing, you're just guessing. Follow the link below to learn more and request a demo. Zach, what's the best training app on the planet?
It has to be Train Heroic. Gone are the days of sending the old crusty PDF. Now we have a sleek new app.
It's easy to use. There's videos with descriptions. You get to track and log your weight, your reps. There's a community chat function. You can submit videos. You can get feedback.
How about the leaderboard, Tim?
I started using Train Heroic first as an athlete and someone who wanted to learn. Now I use it as a coach. Athletes and other coaches can go and be a part of my training community and get results.
Whether you're an athlete, coach, or just like to train, use the link in our description to find out how you can train on the best app in the world.
And join us on Train Heroic today. The CrossFit experience that you had, being there like grassroots and being a part of that wave, because it fucking erupted.
Dude, 2015, 2016 was like peak.
Crazy.
Peak.
Can you talk about
cool.
that?
It was cool. CrossFit isn't cool anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was cool then.
Yes.
It's cool.
What made it cool?
I think what made it cool is because the community was behind it.
Yeah.
Now there's such a divide. And I think the like cool people are now dabbling into like what's next. Hyrox.
Yeah,
Hyrox. Everybody wants to do Hyrox now.
Yeah, I don't know.
People
there's this thing called Apex I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? So the listeners know what that is.
People are very quick to like jump on to like the next craze, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I think there's something about the CrossFit methodology that like, I don't care what your opinions are on CrossFit.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the people who hate it because of different movement patterns or gimmicky.
I feel like the biggest thing was people, particularly in like
people hate kipping pull-ups. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah,
people
dude.
hate kipping pull-ups. People hate handstand push-ups.
Yeah,
and like to an extent, like I agree.
Yeah,
and I think there's two sides to everything, and it's probably the same for athletic performance training as well.
Yeah.
That like there's good coaches and bad coaches.
100%.
And the bad coaches give the sport and the community and that ecosystem.
They fuck it up for everybody.
A bad reputation.
They do. You're right.
But the people who do it really good and the coaches who are really, really good.
Yes.
It is the most impactful thing that you can do. And at the end of the day, I don't care how you train.
Yeah.
But if you do it well and you do it consistency, it's life-changing for
Yeah.
people. And that's what made CrossFit so special, is that it was a place where you could bring in people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Really, really cool, where I think in your setting, you deal with the elites.
Yep.
And it would be incredibly, incredibly intimidating for like a 50-year-old mom to walk in there and do anything remotely close to what you're doing.
It is.
I think that's where CrossFit filled this void for people, where I would coach a class and I would have a 17-year-old girl and a college football player
Yep.
and a 75-year-old grandma, and they could all do the same workout,
Yep.
scaled appropriately. And again, that's where a good coach comes into play.
Right.
And all get the same stimulus and work towards the same thing and have that community aspect that keeps people coming back for more. I like to use the example, like I've been a coach for CrossFit Games champions, games athletes. I've coached NFL players. I've coached MLS players. The highest level I've coached in my past. But I think the coolest stories and what CrossFit provides is I had a woman walk into the gym in her 70s, I think. And her daughter brought her in. And this woman was in such bad physical shape that she couldn't pick herself up off the ground. And that becomes dangerous later on in life because if you live alone, you fall. Like if nobody's there, that could be the end of you.
Well, I don't, I our crowd more than most too will know like falls are a leading cause of death. And it usually starts with a fall, medical complications from the fall, and that's it.
Yeah. So the coolest part about that is that woman walked in the door, couldn't get up off the ground by herself. And within 6 months, she was doing 50, 75, 100 burpees in a workout.
That's awesome.
Which is so cool to me. And like,
it's awesome.
That is equally, if not more powerful and gratifying to me than coaching an athlete who's going and competing at the CrossFit Games or helping an NFL player in his off-season training. Like that was like a really special part of my job.
I think I can totally relate to that where I still train Gen Pop.
Yeah.
I started there. I still do.
You never go away from it, right?
No. And I don't know, maybe eventually I get to a place where it's like, I'm only training in person seasonally and it is just the off season and like some college football and combine prep. But God, I still haven't let go of training gym because at the end of the day, if someone wants to get better and they love training and they're jacked up about it. And every time, the cool thing about Gen Pop too is people can walk in, they're going to hit PRs consistently for a long time. It's fucking fun,
it's
bro.
Cool.
It's awesome.
And that's so true. You bring that up. Like I remember Ben and I would joke around and like, we would hit a 5-pound snatch PR once every 2 years and we'd be like, fuck yeah. Like,
which there is something incredibly special about that too.
For sure.
The amount of time, effort just to get that little bit better. Fuck, what a feeling.
The 1% as you get higher towards the top is harder to achieve. But I think like in terms of like performance, like that's still performance at that person's level.
I've said this a million times on the podcast, so everyone listening, forgive me, but I one of my things is like, if you can teach an 80-year-old woman who's never lifted before how to hinge, you can coach anything. And I want to clue in on that because something that you said is like, you could have someone who has gone through a college strength and conditioning program next to a high school girl with no training background next to a Gen Pop client who also has no training program. And it's all in the same class. And you have to learn the ability to scale exercises and how to be there and be kind of like this Sherpa to guide people through a workout.
That's a skill.
But man, the reps you get having that big of a spectrum of people, class to class, and the CrossFit model, you're banging out class after class, dude. You know?
Yeah, I think I did the math on the time I was there and I coached like 10,000 classes.
Holy shit, Adam.
That makes you a guru, right?
That's right. But 10,000 hours.
To your point, and like not like to like blow my head up, but at that time when I was at like that end of that coaching career, I not publicly, but in my head, I was like, I'm the best CrossFit coach there is right now. That's what I thought, but that's because of the reps I got, the people I got to deal with, like the experience I had throughout those eight years. I was like, nobody's better coaching me in this space right now. And maybe that's very egotistical of me, but I was like, I've truly felt that way.
I mean, you have, from my understanding too, and like, I would like to take this opportunity too, to talk about some of your accomplishments as a coach in that space. Like you did work with NFL players, you did coach guys who competed and gals, perhaps. I don't know if you were working with gals that competed in the games as well. But I would love to learn more about your history there. Because I don't really know. I'm realizing I don't know all the stuff you've accomplished. You don't brag.
There's nothing to brag about. I don't know.
Some people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I genuinely want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think throughout those 10 years when I was coaching, it started off training soccer players.
Yeah.
So I'd have some high level soccer players that went off to do some cool things. And a lot of that started as like, I coached a lot of on-field work, speed, power, agility, but that would mix in some strength training in there as well. When I got into CrossFit, I mean, I probably can't even remember or list all the names of like high caliber athletes that we got to coach and deal with, ranging from like CrossFit Games teens to masters to then your heavy hitter, your individual elites. But I was a part of that crew with Ben Smith, Alex Smith, Dane Smith. So at the time back then, there were two sets of brothers, the Panchik brothers and the Smith brothers. And basically all three brothers in each crew were games athletes.
That's so funny.
And
that's crazy.
It's one of those, it's hard, right? Because I think like you fit into a couple different buckets for like groups of people like that, where you're like a training partner slash a coach slash a, so it's like, I never like to take full credit for anything. Cause I think there was a lot of like, we work together, we push each other, coach each other. But then outside of like that training crew, we were a hot spot for good athletes.
Yeah.
There were a couple hot spots at the time. But then there's been some CrossFit Games men and women athletes that I've been able to be on their coaching wristband throughout the games. Ben obviously ended up winning. Had another female that ended up winning. So yeah, I think like now I've just been in the space, so I'll like fill in as a coach when needed.
Yeah. So I've asked a lot of coaches this in like traditional sports. I haven't been able to ask this question for someone in your space who's been there front row seats, who's been a competitor, who has coached, people who've gone on to win and accomplish great things in the CrossFit space. What are the qualities that separate the people who end up go on to be great, right? And then the people who try, but they can't get it.
CrossFit's an interesting sport. And I think this probably plays into these concepts into other major sports too. But I think there's like a certain body type and genetics play somewhat of a factor, right? Like you can't be 6'7" and make the games because you're not going to be able to do the body weight movements quick enough. Your barbell path is way longer.
Yep.
Like when repetition speed is key to racing and fitness. If you're long, you're not going to make it. If you're really small, you're not going to be able to handle the heavy weights. And that's why we know Josh Bridges.
Yes. Shout out Josh.
Shout out Josh.
Hey, he was wearing your shoes, Josh.
But like arguably, he had some fantastic moments. He had a great career. He finished on the podium, but like he was maybe a touch too small to like have the whole package to win the games.
Yes.
And some of that's a product by the other people who show up and are in the field, right? Like remove two people, he could have won the games.
Yeah.
But they, amongst other things, they probably had a little bit more of an appropriate body type, right?
Yeah.
Josh is a smaller athlete, heavier loads, a touch harder.
Yeah.
He'll win Murph.
Yes. Right. So there are aspects of competition that it behooves him, but overall, so there is a genetic archetype.
Yes, like right. So they're gonna say, and it kind of depends on the programming for the year, but you're looking at like the 5'10" range, 195 pounds for the guys is like your sweet spot for somebody who can handle the gymnastics, the conditioning, the weightlifting, all the elements. Because remember, CrossFit, you're not trying to be the best at anything. You're trying to be good and really good at as many things as possible.
Right.
You're kind of a jack of all trades, right? But to backtrack, I think the thing that separates the people then who make it and don't is people's ability to deal with pain in the moment. But I think that's probably true for a lot of different sports.
Sure.
They have this ability to like block out what they're feeling and execute and perform and keep going. And I think that's a skill that you have to train. Yeah. And you like, if you're somebody who's like newer in your fitness journey, you're just starting out, like you can't even comprehend how to do that yet. Yeah. That's where that 1% comes in, is where you're so fit that now the mental aspect of this comes in.
That's the limiter.
You start to block
It's the ability to like go to the dark place, especially in a competition like that.
But you can't do that till you're fit enough to do that.
Yeah. There's a barrier to entry. It's like you can go to the dark place, but if you're not fit enough, it doesn't fucking matter.
Because I think like while you're trying to build that, that first 90% of your fitness, like your body is going to fail you first.
Yeah. Being that Swiss Army knife and being good or really good at a lot of things. But I mean, dude, I look at some of these CrossFit competitors, and as someone who trains, performance is like my bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to have people who are big and strong and fast, right? At least as it pertains to them and what they're trying to accomplish. And I look at what some of these people can do, and it is beyond fucking impressive.
Right? Like it's cool to see a guy that can clean and jerk almost 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And also run a sub 18-minute 5K.
I mean, dude, what the fuck?
I mean, but that is the CrossFit methodology, and we can kind of start to get into a little bit more of that. But CrossFit methodology preaches, and this is actually the first lecture when you go to get your level 1, which is the coaching certification for CrossFit, the first level of it. They talk about CrossFit methodology and how on the spectrum of fitness, CrossFitters are not trying to be the marathon, Kipchoge, the marathon runner who can run a 2-hour marathon. We're not trying to be, throw out a powerlifter named Brian Shaw who can squat 1,000 pounds.
Right.
We're trying to be the athlete who can run a 5-minute mile and squat 500 pounds.
Yeah. Which reminds me.
Cool segue, huh?
There's a guy in this room who's done that, and his name's not Tim Riley.
It could be.
It could be. Maybe.
If you train your mile.
Yeah, I dude. The last time I ran a mile, we won't talk about it.
What's your mile time?
My best mile, I think I ran a mile, Matt Choi.
Oh, you did the whole Instagram Matt Choi mile?
Well, I'm thinking, if I get sub 7.
Which is cool, Matt, by the way. That's great.
If I get sub 7, I'm going to be happy.
Did you go sub 7?
I think I got 6:37.
Oh.
And you know what's funny? So we're coming down probably the last 150 meters. And, he's pacing me, right? He's not breathing hard at all. And he can tell I'm starting to get into, I'm hurting.
Dark place, yeah.
And he's like, come on, Tim. He's like trying to amp me up. And I made a conscious decision. I was like, I'm not throwing up for this. I'm not. I'm not throwing up for this.
Mental capacity to deal with pain that if you're not training for something, you just don't turn it on.
I'm not now to try and give myself some credit for bitching out. If it was really important to me at that time, right? If I'm training for that, all right, I'll throw up right here, brother. On camera.
For your size, that is a very respectable amount.
Is it? Thank you for that.
100%.
We might need to fact check that. I don't know if it was 6:57.
Now the time is changing.
No, I do think it was 6:37. We will. Dude. Someone will find it. And
I mean, you're not a small boy.
No, I'm not, dude. I'm not tiny. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but
how much does it help running with somebody for a mile? Kind of that pacer where you just
tremendous.
It helps.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if I do that on my own, there's no way I break.
When I ran my mile, I ran with the pacer.
You did. So tell us about it. Because you squatted more than 500, wasn't it?
At one time in my life.
Yeah. Well,
kind of our thing.
So you were one of the first people to squat 500 and run sub 5-minute mile, correct? Is that what it was?
So I was the first person.
The first person?
The first known person to squat. People argue this person can do it, but did they do it?
Right.
Record of it.
Right.
And there would be no reason for anybody to attempt him on the same day. So for what it's worth, I have the first YouTube video documenting.
Let's go.
That I hit this 500-pound back squat and sub 5-minute mile. And there were 50 unbroken pull-ups to kind of create this
you had a 5
pyramid.
Trinity.
Yeah. So, and there's a backstory. That wasn't just something random that.
Yeah. Why the fuck did you do that?
Because like I said, from 2010, whenever these level 1s started, that first lecture, that was the example in that the 2-hour marathoner, the 1,000-pound back squatter, and we're trying to be this person. They had a name for the marathoner and the back squatter. And this 5-minute mile and 500 back squat was kind of just these unicorn numbers that nobody's ever done it. So there's no name.
Oh,
it was just this concept of what we're trying to be. But it was to any person, it's that's not attainable.
But we're not doing that.
So Dave Castro, he's the director of the CrossFit Games.
Okay.
And he wrote a book constructing the CrossFit Games, and it kind of gives you like an inside look of what goes through his mind when he creates the tests, the workouts for the CrossFit Games.
Okay.
Because it's beautifully done. This like 12 to 15 event test to crown the fittest on earth. So he wrote this book, and in this book, there's a section, and it talks about him pondering if any of the CrossFit Games athletes could, if he were to put it as an event, squat 500 pounds and hit a sub 5 minute mile in the same day, meaning that he would put 2 events on the same day.
Yes.
And to kind of create this like trifecta of fitness, having some like gymnastics capacity in the pull-ups, he created this 550, 500.
Fuck.
And he wrote it in this book, and like that birthed this like challenge to the community. And it started to be talked about. And it's like posts and podcasts with like, could anybody do this? And
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
No one's even attempted
Rich
it yet.
Froning do it? Do you think Scott Panchek, he maybe could do it? But I think like the argument was like everybody was a little bit off on the squat and a little bit off on the mile. And again, CrossFitters are training not to be specialized. So they're not like training probably those 2 elements specific enough to get there throughout a season. So I actually attempted it in 2018.
Okay.
And because I was competing, I ran myself into injury a bit, and then season started. And I'm like, okay, I can't be focused on this. I got to focus on regionals coming up. So then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Still nobody had done it. And in the back of my mind, I always was like, man, like if somebody could do this, I feel like I could do it because, and this wasn't like a pipe dream. In high school, I ran a sub 5 minute mile.
Fuck.
When I was training for a soccer player.
Well, I was going to say, do you attribute that to years of just aerobic capacity for soccer?
And I just had this like, again, this broken switch in my head where like, I didn't care about the pain when I was running. And I had this like really weird, deep desire. And I know where my kids get it because my kids are awful about it, especially my oldest son. I wanted to win everything.
Yeah.
Any
You're
challenge
sicko. I
that
love
was
that.
put in front of me from probably middle school on, I was winning or dying trying.
My fucking daughter's got the same thing.
It would ruin my month if I lost any competition. Whether it was a gym class, whether it was like a warm-up something.
Right.
Like, so anyways.
Sure.
I had that base from playing soccer, but then I like on the flip side, as I then started lifting with the Rutgers football team, I also worked out excessively when I was playing soccer.
Right.
Probably not great for soccer, but and then beyond. So in the off season, Ben Smith and I, we would always have some sort of like squat challenge to like race to see who could squat the heaviest by the state. And so I got up over 500 pounds when I was 26 years old. So 16 years old, I ran a sub 5 minute mile. 26-year-old, I squatted 500 pounds. So I was like, I just need to
done them.
Yeah.
Just got to
10 years apart.
Yeah, 10 years apart.
So it's like, I knew what each one felt like.
Yeah.
But now it's like, could I train in a way that I could put them together where I could do enough running to get fast enough, but not so much where I lost my strength in my back squat. So during COVID, all the competitions got canceled. And so I was like, now's my chance. I got time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were probably, people not CrossFit too, because the amount people train a day, 2 to 3 sessions a day. I think it's leveled out. Most people do like 2 good sessions a day.
Okay.
But I stacked my first session for the day. I was like, let's give it 8 to 10 weeks. Let's see what happens. I ran 3 times a week, and I made that my first session of the day. And I squatted twice a week. I did an initial test to see where I was at. And in the same hour, I ran a 546 mile and a 45 back squat.
Okay.
Arguably, if I took another, I probably could have hit 500 then. So I was about there on the squat. So it's like, okay, how can I shave 45 seconds off plus?
What are
on
you
my
weighing
running?
at this time too? I'm interested.
I'm probably 220 when I start this. And I got down, when I did it, I was 216.
Okay.
Lost a couple pounds.
Yeah.
But I needed
Yeah.
I would argue that it has to be a bigger guy that can handle the squat and then has some good mechanics, some good capacity to train the mile that fast.
Yep.
But what I did, like, I think if you talk to any runner, pure runner, they're like, oh, time on your feet, get miles in, you're going to get faster. You'll improve your mile time. I couldn't put time on my feet because I was going to destruct my strength.
Yeah.
And maybe not by a lot, but like if I lose 5% of my strength, I'm not hitting 500.
Yeah.
So my running was super intentionally done. And I never ran more than 2 to 3 miles in total volume per session.
Yep.
And probably 80% of those miles were at 5-minute pace and below. So I did a track workout a week, an interval workout a week, and like a tempo. I would set my watch for 20 minutes and I would essentially work on holding whatever pace I could for 20 minutes. And I could hold like 8-minute pace for 20 minutes. And got to a point where I was holding like 6-minute pace for
Whoa, dude.
20 minutes. And I was just working on just like every time I ran and increasing my capacity, but like 20 minutes done, stop. Don't do it. Don't do anymore. I would do strides. I would do pickups, stuff to like work on getting faster. But like really, dude, those track workouts and interval workouts on the road were like key. And so, yeah, I spent 8 weeks training and I flicked my camera on and I filmed it. And I ran in the morning, hit a 4:56 mile. It was legit. I had a track coach out there. I had a pacer.
Nice.
Which helped.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
Yep.
And then in the afternoon, I squatted and it was like actually very anticlimactic when I did it. Like it was cool, but like for our buddies, like, and it's crazy that like the training group I was with was so stacked that like it was cool, but it wasn't like, it was like, yeah, another day, cool, sick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But what I didn't know, and I think this was just like timing in the world at how much it would blow up.
Yeah.
And this was like, when I did this, 2020? Mm-hmm. This is before like hybrid athletes were a big thing yet.
Yes.
5 years ago, like hybrid, like cool, you would see like a couple people.
It was like Alex Viada, you know?
He's the only name that would pop up.
Seriously.
That would be like, oh, maybe Alex could do this. And that was really it. That was the only name I even heard of. Mm-hmm. So COVID, everything shut down, everybody at home, 0 sports on TV, no nothing, any competition canceled. So this pops up and I did it and I put a YouTube video out.
Yeah.
So little did I know. And I truly just wanted to do this because I knew I could do it. And I was a person that like, I've never been one to train for aesthetics.
Yeah.
I was like internally cared about how I looked, but I always knew that like if I was training for a performance goal, it made me, it was way more gratifying achieving that goal than however I looked. Cause I was like, yeah, cool. I might not be like where I want to be look wise, but I can do this.
Right.
And that was always so gratifying to me. And so I just needed to set a goal. Mm-hmm. And it was something that I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do. And so I posted the video and it like blew up more than my wildest dreams.
This episode is brought to you by friend of the show, David Gray of David Gray Rehab, creator of the absolute game-changing foot, ankle, and Achilles program. To date, it's helped over 8,000 people, including Zach and myself, get back to running, jumping, and playing pain-free. This program isn't just for athletes, it's also been used by coaches and physios in the NFL, NBA, and Premier League, as well as every other major sport. And if that wasn't impressive enough, you can get the full program 15% off lifetime access when you click the link in the show notes and use code TIM at checkout.
The Coach 'em Up podcast is sponsored by Squat Wedgies. Tim, what are Squat Wedgies?
Squat Wedgies are an adjustable squat wedge, 7, 13, and 20 degrees.
It's big enough to elevate your whole foot and not just your heel.
Because it's rubber, it doesn't slide on surfaces.
It's 22 pounds, so it's durable and stable enough for even your biggest athletes.
There's a 90-day risk-free trial. The shipping is free, and
get 15% off Squat Wedgies with our discount code CoachEmUp15.
Coach 'em up 15 for 15% off of the best squat wedge on the planet. Did it change your life? Is that fair to say?
Yes. And I like feel really stupid saying that.
No, I mean,
because I'm like, dang, why did I do that sooner? But I think like the timing was everything in that.
Sure.
Because it was like the athletics to watch at the time. There was nothing else. Yeah. And so like Men's Health picked it up and posted about it, and CrossFit Games and Dave Castro and like these media outlets, and it like became a thing, and it was Castro's challenge, but they were calling it like the Adam Klink challenge. Yeah. It was like something for people to do and get behind, and CrossFit at the time was
something to train for.
Yeah. And like CrossFit at the time was going through some hardships internally. Yeah. And like it was probably the beginning of stuff starting to go downhill. And so it was finally like a win for CrossFit. Everybody got behind it. It was like, hey, we did something good. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. So like I had no intentions when I started it to even like put out the programming that I did for it, but people kept asking. So I was like, oh, I'll write it in an ebook and put it out. And at the time I had I was a coach.
Right.
Didn't know how to use Canva, anything. And I was like, dude, this is going to take me a year to make an ebook. I remember I put out a message on my Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, anybody got any ebook experience? And somebody piped up and was like, hey, I do the media for Coachella. I'll knock an ebook out in a day or two.
Sick.
And I was like, cool. And he's like, yeah, like $500. It'll probably be about 10 hours of work on my time. I was like, I didn't have money back then. I was like,
$500.
Tap into my savings and make an ebook, I guess.
Right.
So we did it, and I put it out like a week later, and
it blew up.
And it was like I sold like 1,000 copies in the first day.
Oh my God.
And I was
epic.
Haha, okay, $500 is fine. Probably should have paid you more. But I think, more importantly, it wasn't about putting out that program so other people could hit the 5 and 500.
Right.
I think what I wanted to preach during that time was for people just to go out and set a goal and to chase it and to work for something. And so even in the ebook, the way that that's structured is like, hey, like you're probably not going to hit a 500-pound squat and a 5-minute mile, but I want you to test yourself initially, see where you're at, see where your base is. And I want you to set some realistic goals for 8 to 10 weeks from now and work towards it. And it was like really cool to see people during a time where there was nothing to accomplish, really. Yeah. People were stir crazy at home. It was kind of this like easily accessible fitness goal for people to start to work towards and chase, right?
Yeah.
Just run outside and a lot of people have squat racks in their garage or
smash some weights
like
wherever you can.
So it was cool in that sense to see people not try to hit 5 and 500, but just to try to set goals and chase them. And I'm not going to go that far, but it's like, that's the concept of like hybrid training.
It is, well, when you're thinking that, I'm like, it's interesting because it is feats like that preceded the hybrid movement. Really, honestly, that was like kind of the birthplace of like, wow, that's fucking cool. You can do both.
Yeah.
And, I would say like some of the things that CrossFit did so well was like, that I love, that I really appreciate is like, it made things more than marathons and triathlons, more endurance-based stuff. It made training the goal and being good at training the sport. Training is a sport. Fucking awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Love that. I think it's great. And it was community based. You know what I mean? And like when you were a part of it, you felt a part of something and it was awesome. It was special. And you didn't give a fuck what other people thought, even if people hated on it. And then like, you said like, bad coaching. Honestly, like part of the reason why I think things went south is because it grew so fast, so big that it was impossible. And with the affiliation program, it's impossible to keep everything tight when you grow that fast, Perfect. Right? So you have some shitty coaching. And then obviously like people on the outside looking at it's never been done before. But I think as CrossFit as we look at where it was and it feels like the sense is like, things aren't looking great, right? At least relative to where they have been.
Look, I think everybody's notion is that like everybody wants these things to be successful because it does a lot of good for humanity.
100%.
That's the goal. But
people are working out.
Business.
That's a good thing.
Business gets involved and
things get weird. And I think also too, like to your point, the hybrid athlete space trend, because that's what it is, has again like taken a lot of those things that CrossFit did well, where it made a particular kind of training more accessible to people that they previously didn't, and made it cool. And I think like Hyrox has done that in a way where they're blowing up. Hyrox is absolutely crushing it now. What are the things that you feel like, as someone who builds community and is in that community, and you've spent a ton of time both, like what has Hyrox done differently?
Yeah,
they're just killing it.
It's really simple. So even in CrossFit, there's a barrier to entry. Mm-hmm. And I think what I mean by that is there's this like intimidation factor where there's a certain amount of skill involved.
For sure.
To be able to do CrossFit, and even people I've experienced might come and go because they get frustrated that they can't do certain things skill-wise.
Yep.
What the hybrid community did and what Hyrox did is they stripped all of those barriers those higher level skill
Yep.
elements
No
to
snatching,
training.
no handstand walks, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, those were always the most frustrating parts for me, and arguably why I never competed at the CrossFit Games is because of the skill aspect. And I was more just like a brute strength capacity guy.
Hammer, yeah.
But like, it lets people just grind and work and accomplish goals without the speed bumps of trying to master some of these skills that arguably are careers for people. Like, right, like Olympic lifting in itself is a sport.
100%.
As a CrossFitter, you're trying to do that along with the 25 other elements you're trying to master.
Right.
So think about that, right? Like, and that's what I mean by that. It just takes a longer time. The gymnastics element, cool. Being a gymnast is a sport in itself.
Yep.
You're trying to master that along with swimming and running and weightlifting and, you know?
Yeah.
But again, like I think what the hybrid community did really well and why Hyrox is thriving is because you can just train kind of like your GBP and go out and get through a Hyrox.
Yeah.
Get through a half marathon. Do a weightlifting meet if you can. And I think like people will come at me for this, but like hybrid athletes and Hyrox is just CrossFit without the skill element.
Yeah.
But it's very appealing to people.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in the door. It allows people to work hard. And Hyrox is brilliant is because circling back to the mile back squat, like it allows people to set a goal and something to train for.
Yes.
And that is why Hyrox is crushing it right now.
Yeah. I think it's awesome too. Like they seem to do a really wonderful job of the community aspect. You can compete against other people, but you can yourself improve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can do better.
It's twofold.
Yes.
It's twofold. So you can go out and do it with your buddies and try to beat your buddies, but I
Yes.
think there's this like internal sense of just self betterment and improvement.
100%.
And it allows you to do both.
Yes.
And I think the reason why, and you touched on it, we touched on it, why CrossFit was so successful in the peak was the community aspect and that trying to improve upon yourself, but also going and throwing down with your buddies.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the gym, whether it's at a competition. Some of my like most vivid, fondest memories training for CrossFit would be a couple of us on a Saturday after classes, maxing out a lift and trying to one up each other.
Let's fucking go. It's the best.
Right? Like,
Electric.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the best.
But Hyrox has now created that
Yeah.
with less controversy.
So, right. And so as someone who in your current role, you know, building community for RAD, which you're killing, by the way. It's awesome to watch you do your thing. Every time I look up and you're in a different city training with a bunch of people and you just get to be an athlete and hang out and connect people and
That's
bring
what I'm
them
happy
together.
with, yeah.
Dude, I'm like, hell yeah, this guy's living the dream.
Yeah.
What are the elements of building a community that actually make it real? Because I think people talk about that. It's kind of like one of those words like building a brand. Like there's this word,
Yeah.
people understand it's important. Most people don't actually know what that means or how to actually make it happen. So what is a community?
It's tough.
Why is it
right?
important?
It's tough, and I think it gets cloudy. And I'll tell you why community is important for RAD and it's one of our key pillars, and that's why there are people in community roles for the brand. When you're trying to grow a company and you believe in something, there's two ways that you can grow your brand. You can dump a whole bunch of money into paid ads and Meta and blow your money, and it's very fickle, and you can basically live and die by that.
Yeah.
It can go just as fast as it comes. But there's this sense of belonging, and you can kind of build this personality behind a brand by bringing people together through human interaction experiences that, yes, it's a slower build, but it's a more authentic build and it's a more stable build in the long run. I think the best thing you can do, and I'm just talking from the brand perspective right now,
Sure.
is the best growth is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it's people talking positively about their brand, and it's the brand's job to give them that experience. And I think to answer your question of like, what is community?
Yeah.
And like what's important to drive, and I'll say like drive authentic community. I think there's like, you see community everywhere now.
Yeah.
Every brand's doing a run club, a meetup, a this,
Right.
a 5K, a whatever.
Yep.
And everything goes in waves. And I think there was this big run club wave
Yeah.
where brands were popping up and giving product and showing up to run clubs. And I think that's kind of like come and is almost coming on the tail end.
Yeah, I think
because there was no like substance there. And what I mean by that is like, you weren't really providing value other than cool, people might just make a couple new friends.
right.
But like,
It's transient.
but yeah, but like cool, an easy 5K and everybody goes their way. It's like, I could have done a 5K at my house.
Yeah.
Like, this was way slower than I would probably do it if I was training. Like I didn't really get
Yeah.
any benefit from that community activation other than just like, cool, being there, showing my face, maybe making a friend or two.
Right.
Maybe I was trying to like show up so a brand notices me.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like real, like true community in my eyes. There's connections to be made there. Yeah. But I think,
Right.
an important part about building community is bringing people together with a common goal in mind
Yep.
and providing value for people to help achieve whatever that goal is that people are all aligned to. Right. So like for us, it's training for performance.
Yep.
So like, yes, there will be times depending on the situation where we will go for a 5K and have coffee and have a good time. There's situations there, but a lot of the things that we do, it's through a performance lens and it's trying to provide value for people that are a part of it. Like the biggest goal for me, if I show up somewhere, is for people to leave that event and be like, man, I learned something today. I
Yeah.
took that away. Because if you can teach somebody something and if they can take something away that's of value
Right.
outside of the product that they buy,
Right.
that they want to buy, and that's why they like your brand, if you can provide that value that they can't get anywhere else, that they've now taken with them, that's changed the way they train, or maybe it's a mental component that they've learned that unlocks that next level for them, that is so valuable
Yeah.
in creating long-standing community and loyalty to a brand.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a brand or whether it's for it can be a personal brand, right?
Well,
but like,
so for like people listening to this, like if you're looking to grow an in-person training business, let's just say you're just started.
I have
Everything you're talking about, like, and you talked about the most potent form of growth being word of mouth. Just someone be like, all of my clients that I get today, almost all of them
Word of
are
mouth,
from someone I've worked with. They're like, you have to train with this guy.
I had a
Whether they-
situation. My next door neighbor who plays soccer, he was like, yo, who should I train with? Oh, I know a guy.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But it's true. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
But I think, I just spoke through that surrounding building a brand,
Yeah.
what you think of a brand of footwear, shoes, a
Right.
footwear brand. But I learned that from trying to build my personal brand
Yep.
and through those like successes and failures. And I found the most valuable thing I was doing at the end of my athletic career, coaching career, when I was building my personal brand, was providing value, especially through your social media platform that people would typically pay for. And so for me, the thing was the running and the squatting, I would put out my running workouts. Yeah, cool. I was selling an ebook, but like some of my most viral stuff that helped me build my brand was I'd put a running workout and people would save it, they would share it, and they would do it, and they would tag me, and them doing it and tagging me, that's that word of mouth virtually.
100%.
And so I think there's this fine line for people trying to build their personal brand, their coaching business. And it's like, yes, you need to make money to survive. But I think there's this line which people sometimes draw a little bit too strictly, that like every piece of value I provide has to be through a paywall.
Right.
But I would argue if you can drip feed some of that value for free to people in some capacity, it's going to take you so much further down the road.
I agree.
Because it lets people experience you on a level that is how you typically provide value. And if they get a little taste of that, they might want more. And I found that that's something that had helped me in my coaching and athletic career. So.
You know what? You're fascinating to me because you're someone who has lived like in a short amount of time, relatively speaking, this entire life cycle of highly competitive athlete, D1 athlete, to highly competitive, fitness athlete, coach, growing an online brand, having an online business as a byproduct of that brand, to now out of the coaching space and into a similar space, but you're working for a brand, building a community as a part of a separate brand now.
Yeah.
And, for most people, I think that life cycle, because I think anyone who's coached for a long time, they eventually arrive at a place where they realize they're like, I'm not going to be coaching on this floor for the rest of my life. Most people.
Dude, there's a life cycle. And like, I remember getting to the point where I was like, I am tired. I am burnt out. Truth. And I think
100%.
And I think this is like where you're starting to get at. And I think this is where some of the value of the lives that I've lived is. And I get this question all the time from coaches who now start to get a little later on in their life.
Yep.
They're having kids, families, and they're like, this 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. split schedule is not for me anymore.
I can't do it. Yeah.
It's like, how did you get into the career you're in now to provide for your family? Because look, like I get it. When I was a coach, my salary at the gym was less than the sponsorship money, which I wasn't a huge athlete at the time, was less than that money. And I was like 30 years old, had my first kid. And I was like, man, companies are not going to want to sponsor this old guy for too much longer. This is going to run out at some point. I got to figure out how to provide for my family.
Yep.
So it wasn't that I was looking for this next job yet necessarily. Yep. I was getting to the point where I was like, something's going to come along. It wasn't urgent. I didn't apply for any job, nothing. So the story goes is from one of my sponsors at the time, BPN, who's right here in Austin.
Yep.
I was actually an ambassador for them. And then they signed me as an athlete, the whole hybrid 5 and 500 thing when that happened.
Yep.
I went out for an athlete weekend, spent some time with them, made some content. And, I'll always be indebted to Nick for this because he saw something in me, which was really cool. And he said, hey, after the athlete weekend, he called me up and he was like, hey, what's your price tag? And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He's like, I want you to come work for me. And I was like, doing what, bro? Like, I am a coach.
What the fuck do you mean?
Many other skills in marketing, in meet. I don't got skill. Like, I can talk to people.
Yeah.
I can coach people.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's like, you're great with people. I want you to come and deal with people for us and build those relationships and run our partnerships. And I was like, sweet. He's like, I can teach you how to write a contract, but I can't teach somebody how to be good to people. And so I had reservations. I was like, we can't leave. She was like, no, like we're going. I think she was like, we need money.
Your wife was like, enough is enough. You're saying yes to this job, buddy.
So I took it.
Yeah.
I was like, zero partnership experience.
God.
Other than, cool, I signed a couple contracts for brand deals for myself.
Right.
But I went and I learned.
Yeah.
Like trial by fire.
Yep.
I learned from my mistakes.
Listen, I'm a learn by doing guy. I relate to that.
I learned fast. I remember I had to, within 5 days, terminate the contract of the first person I signed because I didn't do my due diligence and they had some delinquencies.
Oh, shit. Incredible.
So I made some of the worst mistakes you can make right off the gate.
That's top tier mistake.
Yeah.
Your first hire is also your first
and I
fire.
thought I was the man
For
because I
signing
got this guy with like millions of followers for like $1,000 a month. And I was like, when I gave him, he talked about that. I was like, all you want is $1,000 a month? And I was like, yeah, I negotiated that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Little
dude.
did I know.
Right.
We had to get legal involved, cut this contract
God,
because it was not good. So all that to say,
off air, you got to tell me who it was.
Yeah, fair. I learned from my mistakes very quickly, but like that's how I got the experience, right? Like I don't think it's such a crazy world. Every job they're like, you need this many years of experience, and I was like, well, how do you get the 3 years of the experience to get the job?
Thing. Yeah,
yeah. Like, and so I was given a really, really cool opportunity by Nick.
Yeah,
and I'm so appreciative because that's how I learned everything I know now. And I think like BPN was kind of like, you had to be ready to jump on the speeding train and then run around in circles and figure it out as you went.
Yep.
And I feel like I got 10 years of experience in the 3 years I was there.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
And it opened up other doors to now being at Rad. They saw something very similar in me. It was a very similar situation where I went and led some runs. The next day they said, hey, you want to come work for us?
God,
and
I mean, life is crazy.
life is so crazy. And
if you go back to before you do that athlete weekend,
yeah,
you know what I mean? If this version of you walks up to that guy, the 30-year-old,
dude, I would never, I would never in a million years would I think I would have a role like this. But I think it was part of it was me just being willing to say yes.
Yeah.
Also, and I think people are scared to say yes sometimes.
Yeah.
It was me saying yes. I think it's like, man, even when I was coaching, I was a person who would like sometimes say yes to too many people or what I thought was the wrong people at the time. But little did I know, there were some of the like most valuable connections I made because I said yes. And I think some people say no and then they miss out on those opportunities.
Yeah, man.
And I'm
biased to that as well.
And
I overextend. Yeah. I'm an overextender.
I can see that.
I say yes.
Yeah.
You know,
but I think
I like it.
You would probably argue that surprisingly, it's done wonders for you in your career. You've gotten opportunities that you would never. It's just like it's a product of just like putting yourself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
and it's wild for me to think about that. I was hopping on an airplane to BPN, super excited about being an athlete for them, pumped to be in a Nick Bear YouTube video,
right? And
then 4 days later, I'm getting a job with them. Without that even on my radar. I was like I was like, my personal brand's about to blow up.
Right.
And then
now you're blowing up the BPN brand. Which by the way.
Well, I was BPN and now Rad.
Yeah. So you were with BPN how long?
3 years.
3 years.
Now I've been with Rad.
I mean, the growth that company had over the 3 years. I mean, holy shit.
Rocket ship.
Yeah.
And they're doing great now.
So I've been a part of startups and gyms here in the local Austin area and stuff. And that was my first time, seeing what that world is like, particularly in a city like Austin, where it's like everybody's looking for a rocket ship.
Do you like the start off?
I loved it.
I did too.
Because it's the Wild West. Yeah. And look, there's a lot of dysfunction. There are a lot of things. It's like, are we allowed to do this? Is this legal? Probably not. Is this a loophole? It's a good thing we don't have HR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, I learned so much about partnerships and getting connected to people, and then how quickly things can go up and how quickly they can come to a screeching halt, all the things.
So I got to do it the right way.
Yes.
And you learn from your mistakes, and it's been really cool for me to live kind of that life cycle with one business.
Yep.
And then I don't want to say start over, but like jump to a new company.
Yep.
Where they were years further behind, and now I've lived in that time span we're entering to, and I have some wisdom there.
Totally.
It's a really cool feeling to like be able to speak and be confident that like, hey,
and know you've been there.
This is gonna work. Or I don't think this is gonna work because of this.
Yes.
And it's been really cool.
You're not just flying by the seat of your pants this time.
Yeah, BPN, I was flying by the seat of my pants and learning as I went. Now with BPN, I have more wisdom, more knowledge, and it's been more calculated, and it's been cool to like have the trust from the CEO down in a company like that.
That's
and like steer a division of the company. So I do partnerships and community. We all, again, startups, you wear a lot of different hats.
Sure.
Work with athletes, influencers, coaching team, seating.
It's
community.
So cool watching.
It's cool,
man.
man.
Your thing,
it's
though,
cool.
Man. The branding's cool. But the content's cool.
All that's really cool.
The events are cool.
And that's what drove me to the brand was like, yeah, these shoes are sick.
The shoes are fucking badass.
And they perform, right?
Yes.
But like the coolest part about it is the people and the people that are associated and involved. And like, dude, like having you and Kelly involved is like, it's one of the coolest things for me.
The Coach 'em Up podcast has partnered with Eleiko.
Let's go.
Not only is Eleiko found in 85% of Power 5 schools, but they also offer at-home solutions from racks, flooring, rigs, barbells, bumper plates, your favorite accessories like straps and weightlifting belts, you name it, Eleiko's got you covered. Go to eleiko.com/coachemup and get access to the same equipment that they're using in the best facilities with the best athletes on the planet. How important is it, when transitioning out of this role, as you look back over your coaching career, your athletic career, how much of those things the skill sets that you learned over the course of being an athlete and as a coach, what are those skill sets are serving you best now?
It's funny. It's the ones you probably wouldn't think about if you were thinking about like, oh, what do I need to do to be a partnership manager or a community manager or whatever that is. The skills that have helped me the most in my career to get to where I am. And this is what I tell people as well. They're the intangibles. It's the work ethic.
Yep.
It's the discipline. And it's this rare ability to be a chameleon and to be able to talk, mesh with, communicate, and relate to anybody you talk to.
Preach, brother.
Those three things, right? I think the athletics taught me the first two.
Yep.
The hard work and
the discipline.
The coaching, years of coaching. And we were talking about this before the podcast. Is like, I was an introvert in college. Like, I did not like to be the center of anything. I did not like to public speak. And now because of the 10 years of coaching that I had, I can talk and relate to anybody. Because again, if I was in a class with 25 people, men, women, kids, grandparents, athletes, I couldn't let a single person know that I didn't like them.
Yeah.
Even if I did.
Man, what a relatable experience too, is just having someone walk through the door and you're a trainer or you're a coach and you go, fuck, they're here,
you
man.
You think that, but you can't show that. And I think, and honestly, like, I think that is a big element that separates good coaches and bad coaches, especially in that group workout setting.
Yeah.
Is that like, people can like feel if you're cold or you don't like them or you don't give them enough
100%.
attention. And you can't do that if you're trying to create a business in-person coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so those, and this is what I look for when I had, like, knowing how to write a contract, knowing how to make a deck. Like, those are probably some of my weakest skills.
Yeah.
But I learned them enough to get the job done.
Yep.
Like, and when I hire people now on my team, I actually specifically look at if they had coaching experience in the past.
Yeah.
Because I think that their time coaching is really one of the only places that you can build those intangible skills. I believe it's a product of like, you kind of have it or you don't.
Sure.
But I believe that coaching is a way you can develop it if you don't have it.
Refine it. I think that's about as good.
Dude, you didn't look at your notes once.
No,
Did
I
we
didn't.
even talk about what we were supposed to talk about?
I think we actually did low key cover all the things. So I think I've shared this a few times. But what I've started doing is, everyone who comes on the show, I know who they are prior. Some people like Adam, we have a relationship, but most people we DM and share comments on Instagram. I like their stuff and I slide in their DMs, dude. I don't know them.
And then you're like, oh crap, they're coming on my podcast.
And then they're coming on the podcast. And like, look, like, I'm busy, man. Like, I've got life. I've got a kid. I've got a full-time job. I've got, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to spend 3 days preparing and doing a deep dive. And here's the other thing. Anytime I've tried doing that, because I've done it.
It's probably gone worse. You feel like you're stuck
I'm
with a script.
robotic and it's like they're talking, but I'm thinking about like, oh, we got to get to this next topic. Instead, I get to genuinely have a conversation and learn things in real time and ask actual questions instead of being like, make sure to ask the question about the thing. You know what I mean?
You didn't ask any of your questions. So I think we're doing a good job.
We did. We nailed it.
Nailed it.
So anyway, all right. So let's get to segments. We're going to do segments. That is the one thing, the North Star that we have here. Okay, this first segment is brought to you by Squat Wedgies. Use code CoachEmUp15 for everything at checkout. Click the link below. It'll take you right to it. SquatWedgies.com. 3 things. Adam, looking at this impressive career, right? From where you started to where you're at now, what are 3 things? And these can be attitudes, philosophies, principles, actions. 3 things that someone can partake in, practice, do to get to where you're at today. 3 things.
3 things. 3 things seems like a lot. But I think one thing that has greatly helped myself throughout my career from where I started to where I am. And I think it'd be beneficial to anybody is like, you have to take care of yourself. And I know that's like that is like a very cheesy thing to say, but like, I'm the best version of myself for others when I've taken care of myself. And that might look a little different for everybody. For me, it's setting my alarm at 6 a.m. and getting a workout to start my day.
Nice.
If I do that, I'm a much more pleasant person. And because I think the rest of the day, something that I took away from Rutgers, it's the motto of the football team. It's family. Forget about me. I love you.
Oh, wow.
And so if I can spend an hour on myself, then I can focus the rest of my day focusing on family. Yeah. Whether it's to my own family, to my job, to the people I'm interacting with.
You've done what you need for you. Now you can show up for, I love that.
So that's one.
Very cool.
I think, and again, this is a very cheesy one too, but I think you just need to have no ego. And I think as soon as you have an ego, it gets in the way and you stop growing. And I attribute a lot of my success. I joke around that I feel like I've always been Robin to a Batman my whole career. But I think that's why I've been so successful, because I've never been Batman yet. There'll come a time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm still continuing to progress and to get better at what I do and hone in my skills is because I'm learning from somebody.
100%.
So strive to be a Robin to a Batman for as long as you can in as many situations as possible. Number 3, I'm just one for cheesy ones, but I think it's like, remember why. And I think your why changes and you need to realize what it changes to as you go. My why changed from personal success in the form of athleticism and accolades to other people, the community and gym members and showing up for them, to family now. You can probably relate to that.
Totally.
And I think if you just like always remember why you're doing something, it helps keep you on track. I think when you're doing things and they fall outside of your why, it steers you off path.
Yeah.
So maybe some cheesy answers and maybe some vague ones, but like those are like, maybe you can loop those into like core values for me in a sense.
I think those are spot on, man. Cheesy or not, I think those are foundational. I mean, that's all good stuff. Okay. Next segment. This is Rant and Rave. This is brought to you by Train Heroic. Shout out Train Heroic.
Shout out.
They're fantastic. Click the link.
You know, I got some programs on there.
You have programs on Train Heroic too? No, you don't.
I don't push them.
Let's go, dude. That is another coach.
They're secret, but I got programs on there.
This has happened multiple times. This is, by the way, I'm not bullshitting when I say I don't do deep dives on
He
people.
doesn't know this, and I don't, because I don't put it out.
So, I mean, another coach who I've found out in real time, use it. It is great. Train Heroic is great. Shout out Train Heroic. Click the link. Join us. Rant and Rave. So, give me a little rant, something that you're seeing in the fitness space at large.
I've seen this on your
that you're like, man, I'd like to see less of that. Don't think it's great. Don't love it. And then once we talk about that, we'll come back around and we'll rave about something that we really love that you're seeing that you're like, man, I would like to see more of this.
It is okay. I think this is. I've seen this in clips, so this might have been brought up. I'm gonna get killed for this. I hate the term hybrid athlete.
Tell me about it.
I think somebody talked about this, but it's a pet peeve of mine. And I did not achieve what I achieved by being a hybrid athlete. I achieved it by being a CrossFitter. And that opened the door to allow me to accomplish whatever feats of strength I wanted to do.
Yeah.
This term hybrid athlete, I'm going to get so much hate for this, but like, what kind of professional athlete are you? It's the same kind of concept in the partnership world that I live in, that these influencers want to be called athletes. I'm like, cool. What TV channel do you play on? Right.
Yeah.
I've always attributed athlete as you're in conceptually as like your major sport athlete, where there's a level of athleticism and skill required to play a sport, and hard work is just a product of that. Yeah. Right? That's what got you there. Yep. And now it's like we're highlighting this hard work as the sport. Mm-hmm. The only reason why that can like qualify as an athlete is cool, because like if you post on Instagram, you can get some brand deals. And if you count being an influencer, an athlete, cool. It's a pet peeve of mine. And again, like it's funny, the joke, because I hit that mile and back squat.
Yeah.
We made a video at Rad too, and the joke was the original hybrid athlete because I hate the name so much.
Yes. I get it. You know, it's interesting hearing your take on that because you're someone who competed at a very high level as in soccer,
Yeah.
you know, and it would be easy for you considering that you did back squat 500 pounds and run a sub 5 mile and one day to say hybrid athlete is real and here's why. But you're on the other side of the fence.
I don't even consider myself a hybrid athlete.
Yeah.
And like also like give CrossFit credit where credit's due too.
Yeah.
Like that style of trading made me
a good hybrid athlete.
But like in my eyes, if I made the MLS, I'm an athlete.
Got it.
That like, if you're playing in NFL, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
If you're working out for time, CrossFit and the CrossFit games, I think like, and it's why it's like not as professional as the major sports, but there is like a little bit level of professionalism is because there's skill involved.
Yeah.
That's my argument to like why CrossFit.
I think
CrossFit
I saw
like
you commented on
pseudo professional.
Yes.
I think I was stirring the pot on some of your posts.
You did. We had a post go viral where shout out crew.
Yeah.
Who is
A self-proclaimed hybrid athlete.
and who who made the argument that you're not actually an athlete unless you can demonstrate skill. And it made a provoking conversation where it's like, okay, well, you're saying Kipchoge doesn't have skill. It's like, no, he's not saying that. He does.
And
have
I would
skill.
argue, that's the point. Like I would argue against that. You're like, oh, he's just running. Yeah. You know how much skill it takes to hold a good running pose for a marathon at that speed and to build the proper mechanics. Like that is skill.
Yeah.
Your average hybrid athlete runs like shit. I ran like shit when I ran my mile. Like, I had Chris Hinshaw, who is a former professional marathoner and like running coach. And he was like, yeah, dude, this guy's form is riddled with flaws. I don't know how he ran that fast. I like muscled my way through this mile. That's my point. Like that is not, I didn't have running skill.
Yeah. Well, if I play devil's advocate, could you Jedi mind trick yourself into thinking maybe the form isn't the skill, but maybe the capacity itself is the skill, right?
Yeah, and then my argument to that too is that okay, what stage are you competing on?
Yeah.
That's like I feel like that plays into it. If you're a professional athlete, you're competing at the highest level and making probably a living on winning something.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's an element of being an athlete.
Yeah, is the
because you can play soccer at the highest level and play pickup soccer and not win money and like.
Yeah. So do you get to call yourself an athlete if you play pickup basketball on the weekends? You know what I mean?
You're athletic, arguably, right?
This is one of those things.
We all think we're athletic and can play some pickup basketball like we could back in high school.
Yeah, well, I know better now. I've played a few times in the past few months, and I'm like, damn, dude, I suck now.
You're always decent until you play somebody who's like really good.
Yeah,
and you're like, I need to not step on the court.
Yeah,
anymore.
That's right. I remember now. Yeah. This guy just hit a step back fadeaway in my face. I used to be able to do that, you know?
I just think there's a difference between being athletic and being an
athlete. Okay. Excellent rant, by the way. That was top.
I might lose all my followers.
Honestly, I think these conversations are good. And I like that I get the opportunity to have them with people who, it's one thing sitting around at the bar with your buddies having this conversation. It's a different thing having these conversations with people who have skin in the game, who have done it.
That's why it's also fun to have opinions because everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Everyone is.
And it's the same thing in the world. Like half the people are going to agree with you, half the people aren't. And that's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Life goes on. Like,
it does.
It's not that serious.
It's really not.
Just,
Rave, what do you love? What are some things you're seeing? You're like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I like any community fitness where like you can get a group of people together and like just at the bare bones improve the quality of life. Like, cool, you can knock on the wall ball standards for Hyrox and things like that, but like they're doing a phenomenal job of getting people fit and
excited about it.
And like, you know, I think like some of mine and your passion is like working with, you know, athletes at the highest level.
Yes.
Like I loved, like I worked with Don Carey, who was a returner for the Lions and what do you call it? Pro bowler.
Yes.
And you know, it was fun to work with him, and I taught him how to get his first muscle up and things like that. But like,
Hell yeah.
But like, there's something about like, you can't ignore the fact that Hyrox had 600,000 people do a race this past year.
Holy shit.
And they're on pace for 1 million next year.
That's insane.
And like, I walked into the Hyrox World Championships in Chicago a month ago, and like, you couldn't ignore the tens of thousands of people to watch a freaking
Hyrox competition.
Hyrox race.
People there to spectate.
Yeah, like
That's cool.
you can't ignore it. So like,
That's
you know,
cool.
And again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but like, you can't ignore it.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. People tab it as like, you know, the Walmart version of CrossFit, but like, there's something to it, and you can't knock people for getting people moving and healthy and setting goals, and like, it's great. And like, how can you do anything but like cheer those people on who are trying to go tackle these things?
Yep.
Personally.
Yep. Yeah, I think oftentimes the people who are loudest about hating on stuff like that, if you ask them what they're working towards or what they're trying to accomplish, they have no answer.
It's usually nothing. They
You know?
don't have a goal.
It's like,
right?
okay, so it's like, what are you hating for, brother?
Yeah.
I love that. Let's see what else we got for you. Oh, okay. So, this next segment is brought to you by Vald. Shout out Vald. Actually, it's not brought to you by. It's fucking powered by. Powered, baby. Let's go. Shout out Vald, man. They've been great to us, and we're so thrilled to be powered by them. Okay. Overrated versus underrated. What training philosophies, modalities, ways of thinking are overrated, and what are some things that are underrated?
I think underrated is your core squat, bench, deadlifts.
Okay.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And I think where the overrated comes into play is these fancy gimmicky trainers that are trying to like reinvent the wheel and to try to have you stand on one foot and twist this way because you're working on some sort of stability in a certain plane. That the reason when I was competing in the off season, Ben and I always gave a squat goal to ourselves is because, like, in my opinion, the squat is the most foundational movement that translates to the most elements of fitness that there is. And I think like people try to overcomplicate it. And so undervalued is that it has to be those core lifts.
Yeah.
There's always an argument to safety in deadlifts and going past certain weights, but like, cool. Like there's ways around that. There's safety bars, there's prep bars, there, whatever. I just think people try to do too much for views and clicks and.
Yeah, man. It's, you know, if you look, like I post the same stuff over and over, you know?
Yeah.
Because
but it works.
I post the things I do and the things that work, you know? I post the same stuff.
Bro, seated broad jump onto a box, hack squats.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they're proven results. Like, if you're getting proven results, why would you?
It works, man. I'm not going to switch it up just for the sake of switching it up. You know, I don't get bored by getting results.
Yeah.
But I'll have people who do my programs that are like, hey, can I switch? I did back squat first phase. Can I switch to front squat in the second phase? I'm like, I mean, you can, but why the fuck would you do that? You're getting results, right?
Yeah.
That's the point,
And
right?
I'm not old and you're not old, but I think we came from an age where like your training was never published on social media.
No.
So there was no reason to show off. So you just did the fucking hard work.
Show up, get better.
And it was very consistent.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
It was very linear.
Yeah.
It was very, like, you could predict what you were doing the next week.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing, this is the leg workout I did Monday, and it will also be the one that I do next Monday. And it's the one I did last
And I
Monday.
think things change. You have these people who have like built the body they want.
Yeah.
And to get clients or clicks or views,
For sure.
they do things that are like mind-blowing
Yeah.
in terms of effectiveness, just so they go viral. But it's like, I guarantee you that person didn't build what they have through what they're showing you. Of
course not.
And I think that just bugs me, being a coach, being an athlete, I don't know. When I was competing in CrossFit, like, cool, we did like 30 movements over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yep.
So we got just really, really good at them. And it translated to a lot of it. Like, I could do some of these other things, but it's like, why?
Yep. Yeah. It's not moving the needle. Okay. Last segment. This is unsolicited. Wait a minute. Did we do overrated and underrated?
Yeah,
We did
it was
both.
kind of a loop.
Okay. Just making sure. Unsolicited, solicited advice. You're at your next community event. Okay. And you crush it. By the way, this is brought to you by Aleco. Go to the link in the show notes.
Ooh.
This is fucking nuts. Tell me if you can believe this, Adam. When you click our link, go to the website and purchase anything from Aleco. If you enter a code CoachEmUp10, you get 10% off everything, brother. Everything.
They don't even give like people like me a discount like that
I
when
know.
we do stuff with them.
I cannot believe they sponsor this podcast. They're such a brilliant brand.
They make the most premium.
I know.
Dude, my favorite barbell of all time is their Ollie bar.
Yes. It's so good.
It's like $1,000 bar, but it's so good.
Well, you could get it for $900 with that 10%
that's-
discount. I'm just saying. Anyway, unsolicited, solicited advice. You crush your next rad community event because that's what Adam Klink fucking does. And before you leave, you're helping clean up. You're reorganizing the space because that's also what Adam Klink does. He's going to leave a lasting impression. One of the people who are hosting the event, you guys just happen to be picking up some kettlebells and reorganizing them and putting them back in their place. And you are overwhelmed. You are convicted. You know that you have to share this random piece of advice with this person. You don't know why, but you're going to do it. It's unsolicited.
Unsolicited.
But I'm soliciting it now. So it makes it okay. What is that piece of advice? And it can be about anything, brother. Anything at all.
This is going to be like very general, but I think like in this day and age, if I could communicate unsolicited advice to people, I just want to say like, it's not that serious. People make the biggest deals about the stupidest things that don't matter in the long run. And I don't know if that's a product because I think when you have kids, like your outlook on life changes you.
100%.
But like, dude, the amount of stress people put into, and like specifically like social media and the image that they're portraying of themselves, like it's not that serious. Like, do what drives you, do what you're passionate about. And like, I guarantee you what you're passionate about is not making a YouTube video.
yeah.
You're doing it to like, because you want that to be your career, to make money or something like that. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I think now at this stage of my life, like moments that I wish I had more of would be like spending time with my family or skipping rocks with my kids or hunting for frogs.
Yeah.
And it's like, it like,
Shout out hunting for frogs.
Yeah.
Dude. Haven't done that in a long time.
Caught one this morning. I don't know, man. It's just like all this stuff, all this fitness. It's like, do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Do what brings you fulfillment. Do things where you see progress. Like, do things you can be consistent at. Whether it's just like the same thing for brands too. Like, dude, just like be consistent. Don't be a one-hit wonder. Don't look for the quick grab. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's like, and the thing too is like, we're all in the same boat trying to figure it out and get to where we want to go. Like,
Yeah.
I think it just being too serious sometimes like causes too many problems and too much stress.
Yeah.
That's probably a really bad like piece of unsolicited advice.
I think that's great advice.
But it's just like,
you know, you can be serious. You can take what you do seriously, but you don't have to take yourself within the context of what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So seriously, like life's meant to be enjoyed.
yeah.
I love that. Okay. Damn, dude. It's almost like I've done a podcast or two. We are right at
got a
90
call.
minutes. This was awesome. We nailed it. We crushed this.
Nice.
All right, Adam. Where can people find you and connect with you?
Don't contact me, please. I'm just kidding. Everything is just at Adam Klink.
Nice. And
Rad, if you want some cool training shoes.
Yes. So I've begged Adam to let me promote Rad the brand on this podcast.
We don't do that.
They don't do that, dude. They're too cool for that. They will show up and hand out hundreds of shoes at your conference, but they don't want you to talk about it. So this is my end of the show plug for the 15 people still listening.
Look, we just like to do cool shit with cool people. And you're a cool person that does cool shit, so we want to be involved, and that's what we like to do.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. Everybody who's made it this far, thank you for listening and watching. Go give Adam a follow. Go check him out. He's doing cool shit. And remember, there's two types of people in this world. You know what to do. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.